Good day, colleagues, and I hope we are all well. Thank you so much for this opportunity to present this paper to you this morning. My name is Lindani Maphumulo. I'm here to present a paper on exploring the experiences of students with online teaching and learning, a case study of the students in the University of KwaZulu-Natal, College of Humanities in the School of Built Environment and Development Studies. Just to give an overview of what this presentation will entail, we are starting with the background of the study. The study is a qualitative one, and we're looking at the African literature in terms of the African literature review. Theoretical framework, we are doing Darwinism as one of our framework that will be assisting us in the study. The findings and the discussion of the study will be based on the content analysis. The implication of the study will look at the contribution of the study. The conclusion will be based on the summary of the study results. Just to give a brief background on the study, as we have all been experiencing the pandemic when it came to the introduction of the COVID-19, which affected the higher learning institution, not only in terms of high health systems, but also the adaptation in our psychological, physical, environmental, financial, and environmental impacts that came as a result of the overnight shutdown of the institution, which resulted to at least about 92 institutions that were closed down, 192 universities, and almost 91% of the students were affected by such changes. So this also means that we have now to move swiftly into online teaching and learning and also administration of academic activities. We had to adapt into a new normal, which is studying and working from home, which, of course, for the fourth industrial revolution, which seems to be taking over in the educational sector, was almost the introduction to the future. So the literature shows to us, the study that you conducted in 2021 of the impact and the effects and experiences of COVID-19 in higher education, that there are benefits that come with online learning, which include more flexible hours, more individual work. So most of the learners could manage their time and space because they could study the comfort of their home. And also, there was an increase in terms of technological awareness in most of the students and staff who were initially were not technically advanced. So we also look to the fact that the literature will also talk about that in the past, it seemed as if technology was one of the restriction, or it restricted human interaction and engagement in terms of learning environment. However, this has been discussed to be untrue because technology does have ways of managing and allowing space for human interaction. It also came in one of the studies that was conducted by Anzone and Nins that there has been a digital divide of students in the South African universities, whereby you find that students with privileges and those that are marginalized, therefore they are divided by technology because those students are not able to attend and to participate freely in the academic activities, those who are marginalized and disadvantaged as compared to those who are privileged university students. Results reveal that online learning did not increase the accessibility of university education during the pandemic for students attending marginalized universities because of network coverages, device types for some who didn't have smartphones and good laptops, time of the days, socioeconomic status, and digital competency that negatively affected online lectures and participation of students. So amongst all of that, the students had to deal, universities had to deal with the digital divide, because most of the teaching methods could be constrained because they were not designed for online teaching purposes, but they were designed for conduct purposes. So, for example, your practical modules that require experimental exercises, they were not, the online learning was not conducive enough to allow such. And also some unfavorable conditions that students were facing in their homes, which also affected their learning. Now, the theoretical framework, as we know, Darwin, he's writing in evolution theorist. He was one of the evolution theorists. He talks about the survival of the fittest. His story is well known in the natural selection. He also focused more on the adaptation theories. Darwin believes that those who are unable to survive in the changes that are taking place, they are likely progress to the future. So this theory was used to understand how the digital divide mean, or what it meant to those who are unable to access education through online learning. Did it mean that they will perish in the higher learning institutions, or there were other ways of survival? Because according to Darwin, in order for a species to survive, it's either they can change their outlook to the change, or they can adapt to the change that is taking place. So this adaptation does not only take place externally, but it also take place internally. So psychologically, students had to be taught and be orientated into the online learning, which will assist them into to be able to participate. So COVID-19 therefore can be argued in this case that it was one of the natural selections, because it could select those who can and those who can't participate in the online learning due to various reasons that restricted some, and those other reasons that favored some. However, the theory may be limited in understanding human interaction process, which COVID-19 restricted, because it's an evolutionary theory, so it more focus on the species. However, the ecosystem theory therefore will argue that natural system and social environment cannot be limited by space. Hence, online platform were one of the ways to remotely achieve human interaction. So the set of questions that were used to get the student opinion and experiences about their the online learning experiences. So we had to find out from our student the level of their study. We had to find out what qualifications they are doing, just to get a feel of what the group that we have, the diversity in the group that we have. And also we had to ask them if they had participated in any contact lecturers on campus, and also if they've attended any online classes on campus, just so that we can get a feel of our students. The questions were also focused on understanding the challenges that they faced and of the online and contact classes, and also the good experiences that they may had of online and contact classes. We also wanted to also find out from the students what is their way, what they think could be the way forward for the future for them. Is it classroom, or it's going back to online, or continuing with online learning? And we had to motivate why they're saying that. So we had about 29 participants in this study. In the 29, about 57% of our participants had an experience of contact lecturers, whereas the less than half of the participants did not have any experience with online contact lecturers, meaning the student that came 2021 onwards. So our group was half mixed of those who had contact lecturers and those who did not have contact lecturers. However, our total data of students, participants, they all had, 100% of them had an experience with online classes, which made them to be relevant for the study. So participants indicated that online learning is the most preferred method of learning for them. And they gave following reasons: that it is less destructive because lecturers can mute students and then there's no one going up and down during the lecture times because it is on Zoom. So they indicated that there are less time that they spend on traveling, because with contact lecturers they have to come to campus, and this one they can study at the comfort of their home. They can manage their time well. Some participants indicated that it took some financial burden from them, because the parent did not have to pay for student accommodation and transport and some bus fare that they need to go to campus. So therefore, there was a financial burden that was taken away from them. Also, because now they were doing online, they were also forced to use laptop, which amongst the participants indicated that they had to learn how to use the laptop. They also indicated that because online classes, sometimes they are recorded. So even if they miss the class, they can also go back and do the class. So those are the benefits that students saw that are good for them and to continue it. Some students indicated that because on contact classes, they are unable to participate, they are shy. So with Zoom classes, they are able to express their ideas because they are not afraid. There's no one who sees them because it's on Zoom. So these are some of the responses that students gave. Other students did not have classroom experience, hence they could be limited in answering the question. But the majority of those that had contact classes before, they indicated that contact classes, I said, they are time consuming. Their classes are not recorded. It is normally packed in some of the lecture venues. So they do not participate well in crowded spaces. Sometimes classes end without them hearing anything because of the noise in the classroom, because there are many students in one venue. So for them, they find that online classes are mostly good for them. One of the students indicated that she's shy, so she cannot participate freely so the online classes therefore were good for them. I was not familiar, and that made me to come late to classes. Some students indicated that because they had to find venues, that was difficult for them. Hence, online classes is better because there are no venues to find. So few students indicated that there are challenges with online classes, but the challenge that they indicated was they had problem with network coverage and data issue, and sometimes not receiving data on time, and they end up missing classes. And the load shedding was one of the challenges that students indicated that it affected their online learning. So the student also indicated that they had good experience with contact classes, and there were benefits because they got to meet with their classmates and lecturers live. And some of the students indicated that you can actually read the emotions of a lecture and be motivated on the contact lecturer. And other students indicated that contact lecturers are more focused because you come to campus, the other students who are studying, unlike at home when everyone is doing everything. So it is not focused, whereas campus is more focused. So communication was good, and they had opportunity to interact with lecturers on contact basis. So those are the students that thought that contact lecturers are actually beneficiary to them. But the majority of students were happy with online learning methods. And participants indicated that moving forward, it would be better for them to continue with online learning methods because, as they've mentioned earlier on, that it's convenient to them. Online classes, they don't have rest or funding. So therefore, studying at home, it limits those financial burdens. Online classes, it also means that they have to travel to campus, which doesn't happen with online classes. It enables them, those even with low self-esteem, to participate in lecture rooms. Okay, so what we see that the above data shows that there is an increase of technology awareness amongst the current students that we have, even staff that we are having. So but there are also negative implications in terms of soft skills, because students that are shy in social sciences, they are unable to get the skills of being able to be bold and present in front of the people because they are familiar with online classes, and as they indicated that some of them they are shy. And those interpersonal skills, they are very important in terms of the labor market to help the student to adapt. So in terms of developing students to be team players in the workplace, this was also a challenge because students are isolated. They are working in their comforts of their home. So those are some of the challenges that were posed by online learning. So it means that also the generation in the future, students are getting more technological advance, which is also good for the workplace that they are going to. So in conclusion, most disadvantaged background students are affected negatively by remote learning, especially those coming from rural and informal settlements. Therefore, this paper recommends that further research on student responses based on their socio-economic and socio-environmental and economic background may be necessary to get more of their experiences. Online learning is thus regarded as the future in higher education. It is more accommodative, flexible, more accessible, and convenient to transfer knowledge and skills, as the student had indicated. Okay, we have come to the end of our presentation. These are my references that we used, and also these are my contact details as the presenter. Thank you so much.